we are. One of the crucial steps of this entire process is to make sure that we have good notes. You can see my notebook. It has much better notes than my graduate notebook had in it. And we're gonna go through in detail, writing down everything that we did to get this beer made, so that in the future, if I want to make the same thing again, we can do that without hassle. In fact, this is rather important. I will introduce you to my IPA, for example, the Rat Special IPA. This is something that I kind of made off the cuff one time. Good thing I kept notes, because since I kept notes and people loved the IPA, I could make it again. This is best done as we go along, but I did keep all of my records and used materials so that I know what actually went into the beer, and now I want to write that down for permanency, because plastic bags stay around forever but don't make good notebooks. So my grain, we had 9 pounds German Pilsner, we had 1 pound Vienna, 0.25 pounds Victory. Our hops, this is particularly important. We had 1 ounce of Hallertau for at 3.8% AA. So it's important that you record what AA your Hallertau has, because if the different crop has a different alpha acid content, then you want to adjust the amount of Hallertau or whatever hops you happen to be using based on the amount of alpha acids in it if you want a good reproduction. My hop list also serves as my hop schedule, so I don't only record how much hops, but also for how long. So I had 1 ounce of Hallertau for 60 minutes, and then I had another amount of the same Hallertau, half an ounce, but that was only in there for 15 minutes. So the total boil was 60 minutes. For the entire 60, the 1 ounce was in there, and for the last 15 minutes, the other hop was in there as well, the rest of the Hallertau. Gotta make sure that we write down our yeast. That was our White Labs WLP 838 Southern German lager yeast. The recommended yeast was actually a different yeast. It was a yeast it was specifically Hella's yeast that was manufactured by Y Yeast instead of White Labs. But a lot of times multiple companies will generate or grow the same yeast strain, just give it slightly different names. And so the recommendation when they didn't have the Y Yeast in stock was the White Labs Southern German lager yeast. So hopefully that will give us something delicious. And then we got to write down our details. So our mash, we brought 3 gallons of water to 150 Fahrenheit. Actually, this is the worst way to modify a notebook, but we brought it to 160 Fahrenheit. The appropriate way to do it would be to cross it out and write above it, but here we are. We added all the grain and set mash at 150 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 minutes. I like to leave a gravity note in here for myself. Gravity of hot wort was 1.04 something. Because I'm a terrible note taker, I didn't write it down at the time. I remember it was 1.04 something, which isn't super important exactly what it was, but it's a good idea to remind ourselves that we did test this in the middle. Actually, this is not knockout. This is, we sparged it. Sparged with 2.5 gallons of water was a little over 170 Fahrenheit, 175 Fahrenheit. Then we brought our 5.5 gallons to boil. I tend to not repeat my hop schedule in the description, so I just say hopped as per schedule. Whereas the schedule is right back at the top. Cool to room temperature with cooling coil. I like to be detailed. Took about 20 minutes, which is actually usually faster. It's faster than usual because I have that nice new fitting. And then, not too much else exciting happened. I guess actually no. We transferred to primary through a sieve for aeration. Left thermometer inside, set to cool to 50 Fahrenheit in lagering box. Now, I like to conserve space, so sometimes I bring up my notes a little short. Next day, that would be today, 3/19. Temperature at 64 Fahrenheit in wort. Bitched anyway. And then that's that. Set back to 50, and now we have notes.